Hey guys, welcome back. It's Wednesday. It's the Wednesday wrap, the rugby news from around the world. Some of the headlines that have been catching the attention, some been bubbling underneath, and some that are just a bit of fun as well. That's always the wrap up in for the rugby news on this channel. So yeah, let me know what stories you enjoy, and we'll kick it off straight away with probably the biggest news coming out of England so far is the unretirement of Courtney Lawes. Of course, he's been playing in France. He now hasn't played for England for quite a while. And he announced it and he signed for Sale Sharks. So quite interesting. A year out from the World Cup, I think we might see a couple of more players coming back and looking to get a World Cup squad. But yeah, was Courtney Lawes talking about that to Sky Sports.
Coming back to England means that you'll then be eligible for England, and knowing what you're like and knowing the fact that you never do anything by halves, that has to just be at the back of the mind somewhere.
Yeah, I am officially coming out of international retirement. That doesn't mean that I'll be playing for England again. That remains to be seen. But it's always a process for me. If I can get back and perform for Sale, I'll give myself an opportunity to potentially play for England. And I've got no expectation to play for England. If Steve thinks I can add to the squad, then I'd be more than happy to try and do that. And that's all there is to it. Regardless of that, I'm gonna concentrate on what I do best.
So given England's issues at the moment, I'm sure they'll welcome him back, and just wait to see how long it's going to be before Steve Borthwick does pick him. I don't think it'll be long, to be very honest. He's sort of experienced. I'm sure they'll have him back pretty quickly in the England squad. But for those who, while the caption on this next video says the best tackle in history, I'm sure there are others that will compete. But just a reminder of when he's on song, what a devastating player Courtney Lawes is.
Power to make it available. Oh, Courtney Lawes.
Timing was good, so I'm happy with the tackle and it was not high or anything. Is that what you're seeing?
I agree with that, Nigel.
Next up, just our condolences go out to Springbok prop Wilco Lowe, who lost his father in the last couple of days. You may have noticed he hasn't been playing for the Bulls for a while. We've known for a while that he's been on compassionate leave. His father was sick and his father passed away last week. So Wilco posting the picture of them two together. Also one of the reasons why he's going to the Stormers, to be closer to the family farm. But yeah, our condolences, Wilco, and hope you find some comfort in the memories. Now, a bit of controversy in Wales. Ospreys scored a try against Ulster, which they thought won the game in the EPCR Challenge round of 16 last weekend. The officials, the TMO, came in and said it was a forward pass. I'd love to show you, but because of EPCR's copyright, we can't show you that. But now a lot of complaints in Wales that it wasn't clear and obvious, and the referee said the on-field decision was a try. And then the TMO tended to, I didn't see the incident myself, but the TMO apparently convinced him that it was. So a bit of controversy in Wales there. We know the Stormers had some controversy the last couple of days as well. So maybe a tough weekend for rugby referees. Across in Fiji, the Great Council of Chiefs there, which is their government, has questioned whether the Fiji should do their Cibi, which is of course their war dance, which they do before games. Saying that it came from colonial times. Now, the history of that, as far as I understand it, is that the Cibi was done for the first time in reaction to the All Blacks haka in 1939, I think it was, that the first tour was. So it's been around for a long time, and so you might be seeing Fiji change their Cibi or alter it in some way, because they have gone back to take the question under review. So just interesting to see. Last week we spoke about the Australian prodigy Massimo De Lutis, who Ireland were trying to get to sign on a heritage sort of deal. Well, he's been obviously offered quite a bit of money or made some promises. Australia, he's going to stay in Australia like it should be. He is an Australian, and so that's great for the Wallabies. This news. Also in Super Rugby, Ryan Lonergan's going to get his 100-game milestone for the Brumbies. So that's great to see, a nice milestone for him as well. It's nice to see there's quite a few players lately getting these milestones, and they're always worth celebrating as well. Also in Australian rugby, Zane Nongo has signed with the Wallabies for another 3 years. So he's going to be around in the gold jersey for quite a while to come. And it's good. He's a great young talent. It's good to see as well. A bit of a sad story. Blues and Maoris All Blacks forward Cameron Suafoa was forced to retire because he had a terminal cancer diagnosis. Really sad to see this happen with somebody so young, and we wish him all the best in his recovery and his fight. And it was nice to see his Blues teammates turned up, and they all shaved their heads for him in solidarity. And it was so nice to see this video.
Oh, straight. What do you reckon? That's crazy. Oh, face looks fancy.
Look at face. Look at him. Is that Tima?
Oh.
Hey, look at Boo. That is proper. I can't. That's crazy.
Man's the orange. Orange dog. What? Orange dog. Right. I think get a haircut. Believe it or not.
Also in New Zealand, Shannon Frizzell signed for the Highlanders, and he's going to be coming back to try and make the All Black squad ahead of the World Cup. Certainly one of their bruisers, and they'd really be wanting him back in action. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these moves coming up as well. Not quite Southern Hemisphere, but Marco Vunipola is saying that he wants to finish off his career exceptionally well, and he's looking to switch to represent Tonga. You think he had 70-odd tests for England, and he wants to try and play for Tonga in the next World Cup. Interesting, these eligibility switches as such. I think we're probably going to see a lot more talk like this over the coming year in the World to the World Cup, the road to the World Cup, while guys try and make it to the tournament in one way or another. Some happy news for Dewald Himon, the Blitzbox star. He went down on one knee this week for his girlfriend Tanya and popped the question, and there's the video of it, and she said yes. And so all congratulations to the couple. Obviously looked like the proposal went extremely well, and very happy for them. One of the great servants of South African rugby, the Blitzbox, has played a lot for them and is still around in the Blitzbox, but you can see obviously done by a photographer this, and very happy the celebrations for the couple, and we wish them a happy life together. I hope Dewald still performs, gets an extra step on the field. This is one of the best steppers in the Blitzbox team as well, so good to see it, and let's hope they have a great life together. Well done, Dewald. Staying with a bit of a Sevens theme, Springbok women's star Nadine Roos, and 15's star as well, spoke a bit to Guthrie Steenkamp on his podcast about just her tough upbringing, and it's worth listening to realize that not everybody has the easy ride to the top.
I grew up with my grandmother. Yeah, so in short, it's almost like kindergarten. My mother left me there. Obviously made some bad decisions in her life before. It's illegal for a child to stay overnight, and I think it was about 3 days that my mother didn't came back to fetch me. This was in Pretoria, and my grandmother was staying in Petersburg. And yeah, then my grandmother got phoned, that this is the case, this is what happened. Obviously, I had to go into welfare, and my grandmother just said over her dead body. So she took me in, raised me. Obviously, the challenges that we faced was financially. My grandmother was a hairdresser, so she had to pay rent for the chair in the hair salon. But also, you only have a certain amount of customers that you see in a month, so then still had to pay rent. Have to buy food.
Apologies for the brief edit there, but that's as I received it. Go watch Guthrie Steenkamp's Coach G podcast. It's worth watching the whole thing as well. And Guthrie's a great guy as well. Then Exeter Chiefs fullback Josh Hodge has agreed to an early release so that he could join the Newcastle Red Bulls. So they're certainly signing up quite a few players of late. If you're in Cape Town, please go support the Stormers. They're looking to break the season record for the URC. They need another 45,000 fans, 22,500 in each of their last 2 games against Connacht and Glasgow. They should be crackers of games as well, their last 2 home games. But if you can go support them, they'll be able to break the record for the URC attendance. And here's all the records. If you look at it, the top one is Leinster, 241,000. Over the season 2024-25, the Stormers on 197,000, and the next 4 above that, is the Stormers. Well, I think the top one's just probably them as well, but they come close a couple of times in the previous seasons, but certainly with their wonderful stadium and Cape Town vibe, they always get great crowds. So go out and support them, let them break that record, and they have another record for South Africa. Which led me to this, which I picked up on Twitter as well. Just some of the attendances this season. Leinster, of course, a bit ahead of them as well. They are 240,000 attendance so far. You can see Stormers second, Bristol, Harlequins, Sharks just after that. Munster, Leicester, Northampton, Bath, Bulls. So the South African team's not doing so bad. Lions very low there, obviously, but that's understandable. But just interesting to see how the South African sides compare, especially when you think of how the TV stations look. Because a lot of our stadiums, if you're watching this from overseas and you don't know South African stadiums, a lot of them are facing so that the opposite stands in the sun, and that's the one that's in the camera angle. And often people don't want to sit there; they sit on the other side of the stadium, and it doesn't make for great viewing. Although, I mean, they are huge stadiums as well, 50-odd thousand plus, depending on where you're watching, and they're not bigger than some of the smaller stadiums in the URC. Just to take that forward, and excuse the bit of blurry, didn't come out very well, but South Africa, on average, 15,800 attendances for URC games, Ireland 14,400, England 13,700, Scotland 9,000, and Wales 6,500. So South African audiences on average are pretty good, mostly driven by those Stormers figures, but still, it's just, we obviously want more fans there always, but just interesting figures to look at. Bath said goodbye to young scrum half Neil LaRue, who's played, I think, 20-odd times for them, has certainly enjoyed his time there at Bath, and there's been some high praise for him. Looks like he's returning to South Africa. The Bath doesn't say where they're going, but as far as I know, he's going to the Bulls for next season. He was there as a junior as well, so returning to Pretoria. And on the Bulls there, David Krill, departure confirmed, going to La Rochelle, overlooked by the Springboks the last couple of seasons. And look, it's understandable. There's a lot of quality at the Springboks, but David Krill, certainly his versatility, can play anywhere in the back line. I call him, well, a lot of people are calling him the Bulls' Swiss Army knife, because he slots in everywhere and he kicks as well. So he's a pretty handy signing for any team. Off to La Rochelle. The Kubota Spears saying goodbye to a bunch of guys in the Japanese league. Some of those familiar faces you might see there. A little bottom, although he's got rather grey shadow, or Gerard van der Heever, who played for the Bulls in the wing. Lapis Labuschagne, who also played for the Bulls and the Cheetahs, and obviously Captain Japan as well. Bernard Foley with his peroxided hair there, and Bryn Hall are the four that I recognise there. But yeah, interesting to see they're all ending and sort of returning to their homelands and retiring. So goodbye to them from Kubota Spears. They've been great servants for them. Just some news there. Of course, on Friday, the Varsity Shield final, Walter Sisulu University and Wits going off at Wits Stadium. If you're in the area, go watch. It's some great rugby. Some of the young guns going head to head there. Cup also going the semi-finals on Monday. Eagles beating Marties by a huge margin there, and Tuks beating UJ. So it'll be an Eagles-Tuks final on Monday. It should be quite a final to watch as well. Some great rugby between these sides. While we're on the subject of competitions, here's the EPCR Challenge Cup quarterfinals. See there, Montpellier taking on Connacht, Benetton taking on Exeter, Ulster taking on La Rochelle, and Dragons taking on Zebra. And the Sharks will be kicking themselves because they could have had a good run here. And the Lions as well, because I mean these aren't teams that you wouldn't expect to beat if you're on form, and you can see why it's the second tier competition. And then the big one, the Investec Champions Cup. These are the quarterfinalists as well. These times are all local, by the way, so add an hour if you're South African in South Africa. Bath playing Northampton, that's going to be a cracker. Johan van Graan's side. Thomas du Toit was man of the match for Bath against Saracens, good to see. Glasgow Warriors, Franco Smith's side, taking on Toulon, who beat the Stormers controversially. But Franco Smith's side, yeah, it's going to be a tough task. They've got some big games coming up. Leinster, Sale Sharks, that should be a cracker as well. Some doubt about Leinster, but they're still a quality side and they tend to win as well. And then the big one on Sunday, the clash, the massive top 14 team clash. Bordeaux Bègles, the defending champions, against the Stade Toulousain, or Toulouse as you know them. That should be a cracker. Don't miss that one. That's a massive, massive game. Speaking of Toulouse, some news there that they've been summoned to a meeting about the salary cap. Now, if you remember right, they were Antoine Dupont was one of the players there. That there was some talk that they paid commission or above the salary cap third-party payments to them. They breached the salary cap regulations in France. They've been fighting it. It looks like it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens here. The French are rather sticklers for these type of things, and good that they are. But certainly it looks like Toulouse has a case to answer here. Another move, Johnny Matthews, who's been in sensational try-scoring form for Glasgow this season. He's been fabulous for them. Montauban have signed him. He'll be going to France next season. So very interesting move there as well. Another player moving to the French top 14. Some serious injury news there after this weekend. Luke Cowan-Dickey and Bevan Rodd both suffering big injuries. Looks like they're going to be unavailable for the tour or in a race against time for the tour to South Africa in July. And that means Jamie George is the only fit England hooker at the moment. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Steve Borthwick will be sitting on tenterhooks to make sure he doesn't get injured. Some disciplinary news, a 6-game ban for biting opponent by Nathan Jabulu on Saturday. Never nice to see, and you'd often think that these would get harsher bans. But as we saw with Eamon Itzbeth eye gouging and some of the other incidents, one in the Six Nations, they don't always tend to do that, but just an interesting decision that. Now, everybody who watched the Stormers game on Saturday was talking about the ending, but one of the interesting decisions as well was Ma'a Nonu getting banned for 3 weeks for his clash with Wandisile Similani. Clash of heads, he came into the tackle too upright. Show you the incident now, but it's just interesting that it was yellow carded, sent to the bunker, and was told it was only a yellow, and then was cited by the match commissioner. And the disciplinary said a 3-week ban for Ma'a Nonu, who's I think 43 now. He just gets better with like fine wine, but it's good to see him still playing. And those to me were a bit accidental, but just a very interesting turn of events. This. So I've slowed this down a bit. This is where Ma'a Nonu got. In Silimilani steps inside, change of direction. Nonu comes from the side. There's a tackle there, goes way too upright, and makes head contact with Wandisile Similani. That's the incident. As we wrap up, just two nice stories. One just of Sacha Feinberg Mngomezulu after the game in France. There's a South African family there whose kid was had trouble with the move out of South Africa, and Sacha came to spend some time with him. So great to see. Picked this up on social media. I don't know all the details, but from what I could see from the little bit of the caption, it sounds like Sacha really made a difference in the kid's life. So here's that, and then we'll close off this video. Finally, going to turn to a nice little something different, a bit of women's rugby. There's a podcast called The Good, the Scares, and the Rugby. Just make sure I get the names right. It's World Cup winning Red Roses players Emily Scarrett and Natasha Hunt, and my good friend Alma Smith, who you all should know from Supersport as well. So they do this podcast. They have a look out for it. It's a great podcast. This week there was the women's referee Sarah Cox, who spoke about a number of things, reffing some of the toughest games in her career, including South Africa. And the innovation that sways the brain showed at the recent Rugby World Cup. So have a watch. And also, I'm going to leave it there. If you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. The thumbs up helps with the algorithm, so I need to always ask for that. And leave your comments. I read them all. It's good to see what the comments are as well. But thanks for watching, and until the next video, cheers.
I said to the South African coach, could have warned me on that one. Like, could have given me a little bit of a heads up that you were going to do something that odd.
What was the best one for those people that weren't watching?
So the two that stuck out, we had a scrum and they set up a maul directly off the back of a scrum.
Fantastic.
And I was like, hang on a minute. And you have this moment of doubt to think, can you actually do that in law? Before you know it, this thing's gone over down the road. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Well, we're going to find out if that's law or not. So then I'm stood at the back of this line out, and the South African girl turns to me and goes, 15.
What, as in when you're like, what's the numbers?
Yes,
numbers.
I was like, numbers. And she goes, 15. And I was like, I'm definitely not losing this in any type of accent or translation. She's just said 15. So I turned to New Zealand. I said to them, 15. I said, do as you wish at this point.
Because none of us have got a clue.
Yeah. I was like, like, Jesus, take the wheel at this point.
This time.
Everyone's in. Here we go.
They've lifted Dorf the first time.
Is it a 3-person or 2-person line out?
Yeah.
Right on their 5-metre line, I think it was. And again, I stood there and I was like, I am in some sort of different realm here. I thought, and then next minute, the ball goes flying over the top of your head and you think, oh, never mind. Well, Jesus has got the wheel again.